of Cairo for generations. But now they face the real prospect of being homeless. Anish Rahman traveled there and filed this report.
There's only one way onto Qorsaya Island. A ferry that goes back and forth all day. Here, life is quiet and simple. Most make their living farming or fishing. And for the 5,000 residents, it's been home to their families for generations. As artist Mohammed Abla describes it,
it was a really peaceful life.
But late last year, things changed. The Egyptian military started taking pictures and then, says Mohammed, a few weeks later, made their move.
September 11, they occupy. I mean, they came early in the morning and then they put their hand on one piece of land which was owned by 10 people. And then in the end, those people, they were taken to a military judge.
One of them was fisherman Mohammed. The military judge told me you have two choices, he says. Either sign away your land or go to jail because you stood up to the army. And so I had no choice. I signed away my land. Qorsaya may not look the part, but it sits on prime real estate, smack in the middle of Cairo, in the middle of the River Nile. It's real estate residents feel that is being readied for sale by a government that wants to cash in. No government official would speak to us on camera, but the man who represents this island in Parliament, a man who, by the way, is a member of President Mubarak's ruling party, told us over the phone what he's told the residents here, that there's nothing to worry about, and that those bulldozers, well, they're just here, he says, for development. Few here buy that. Dr. Mohammed Mustafa, a trauma surgeon, has lived on this island for 22 years, has plenty of documents to prove it, yet still feels under threat, and for good reason. Shortly after the Egyptian military first arrived on Qorsaya Island, Dr. Mustafa says they came to his house and a chaotic scene unfolded. While snapping these pictures, residents pushed back, and after a few hours, the soldiers did retreat. But to this day, Dr. Mustafa says he's gotten no answers from the government about what happened or why. We don't know what will be tomorrow, he says. Nobody tells us anything. Nobody said leave officially. I feel like nobody in the government is thinking about us. The army came and did what they did and left, and nobody called to say anything, to explain what is going on. And so Dr. Mustafa and others are now suing the government, trying in court to resolve the matter, a process that could take months. The reason? While plenty of residents say they have documents to prove their claims, there are questions about whether they technically own their land. Egyptian law is so murky it settles nothing. And with the military now living on the island, with bulldozers blazing away daily, paranoia is on the rise.
People became something like really crazy. I mean, they don't sleep. Any strange voice on the island, they say it's okay, military, okay, so they're coming, and people, they sleep to guard the shores.
The average person here makes about $4 a day. Farmers like Ahmed, who's been on this island for 65 years. These days, he works alongside his grandsons and warns against anyone taking his land. I am not moving, he says. I will stay here. I will bring all my relatives and stay on the land. Ask Ahmed's brother Mohammed the same question, and he goes a step further. If anyone comes to take my land, he says, I will defend it myself. I will cut them to pieces. On the surface, life on Qorsaya Island is normal. Farmers are still digging away. Kids are still passing the time playing football. But there is here an undercurrent of fear. Residents are afraid to leave their homes. And these Egyptians are convinced of one thing above anything else.
With money, you can buy anything, even a government.
In a game where the government has all the power, there's really only one big move left for the people here. To tell their story before it's too late through whatever means they can. For Mohammed, that means art.
those paintings, I'm working since 3 months about this, what's going on. So all the paintings are full of soldiers and officers and...
Yeah, the two main themes seem to be the bulldozers and the police.
Yeah, bulldozers and police and very poor, simple people, they're standing there.
And earlier this year, Dr. Mustafa brought together residents, mostly kids, to send dozens of balloons into the sky. Their message, save the island. Their urgency underscored by what is now a constant on Qorsaya's landscape, the bulldozers that seem to never stop working. What goes through your mind when you see that bulldozer?
Everybody here have depression, and everybody here have heat about what happened here.
Hate.
Hate, surely.
This is not what Qorsaya's residents want. Instead, they simply want answers, and they want their country to pay attention. Because if Qorsaya goes to the government, residents warn, who knows what part of Cairo will be next. Anish Rahman for Inside the Middle East in Cairo.
Well, that'll do it for this deep freeze edition of Inside the Middle East. I'm Hala Garani in Amman, Jordan. Any questions or comments? As always, email us, mideast@cnn.com. Check out our website, cnn.com/IME, and the show blog at cnn.com/Hala. I'll see you next time. I can sense that I'm going to get really, really pelted.